How do you choose a quality service? I'm going to hand that one over to Lynn and Brian to start with, I think.
That's all me. Hand it to Dad and then.
Hand it to Lynn first. You reckon we've heard enough from Brian, do you? So we'll go to Lynn.
You took a share.
Thanks, Sarah.
What have you been doing it?
What I did to find one of my providers, I actually interviewed about 4 providers. I mean, naturally they're all going to say they're going to be fantastic and they're going to meet my needs.
Sir.
But I guess I just had to try. One stood out because they did grooming. And I always had to look beautiful. Really, it's just a matter of try and error, basically, with all. Because, as I said, they're going to say they're going to be fantastic. They're not going to say, oh, don't pick us, we're terrible. So it's just a matter of trying. And I guess my first one, I only said 6 months. I'll give it a go. If it didn't work out, then I'd go back to the original one or find someone else. So, you know, and that's what I did.
And when you said you interviewed them, Lynn, did you have some set questions that
Yes, I did have some set questions. I asked them what their training was like. I wanted people that came in that knew how to do hoisting, that I needed to have someone to come and swimming with me because some of the people that coming in, they didn't like chlorine, they were allergic and they didn't let me know and all those sort of things. So I had a set questions when I asked them. And also just as if you're cancelling the shift, how long does this take and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So I did.
For Barbara and I and Sarah, when we moved to Geelong, we'd lived at Ocean Grove for a long time. When we moved to Geelong, we had to change doctors. And I would think the same question applies to how do you get a new doctor? Where do you begin? Well, I think you begin by talking to some other people. And what was of particular interest to us was someone who would have empathy with a person with disability, really attuned to that. So we finished up getting a doctor who had a son with a disability and was quite involved in the Geelong area with an organisation associated with disability. Now, that got us to the step, let's at least go along and we'll decide to interview him. So along we went and said, we're not asking permission here, we're coming to check you out. And that's what we did. We questioned him and so on around that. So how do you choose a disability, a service? I think exactly the same sort of way.
Great, thank you. Probably the only bit I'd add to that is if I was choosing a quality service for a loved one, I'd probably look at a service that was willing to learn with me because the NDIS is a brand new world for all of us. So we're all in the process of learning together, and I think that's one of the, from my perspective, and I'm not a Kooringal employee, so I'm not sitting up here just blowing their trumpet. Kooringal very much is committed to learning with people with a disability and their families about how we all get the best outcome within the new world that is the National Disability Insurance Scheme. So probably one of the questions I'd ask a service provider is, how will you help me negotiate the NDIS world?